Hello everybody, this is Dave from Mini RC and I've got some exciting news. There's new evidence that the Mavic Mini is coming soon. So let's take a look at that right now. So the first thing we can see here is some of the sites have information about an announcement coming out on October 30. And this should announce the DJI Mavic Mini. But this may still be just a rumor, but there is some substantial evidence to show that the Mavic Mini is coming. And what is that? Well, it's this FCC grant for the frequency for the transmitter and receiver in this particular model. And here you can see this particular grant, and there is the name Mavic Mini right at the top, and you can go to this site. It's on the fccid.io. You can go there and look it up yourself. And here's the frequency range right here. So it's a 5.8 gigahertz frequency range, and it's 250 milliwatts. So we're thinking this is going to be some kind of digital Wi-Fi that's going to have pretty good range like some of the specs originally said. Moving along, we can see the information here. This is in the test report that's underneath that particular FCC document, and you can look at that yourself too. So here's the test report, and you can see some of the information there used during the testing. And you look, there's dimensions right here. Now these dimensions seem awfully large. I mean, if this was the actual size of the quad itself, well, it'd be way too big to be a mini. That's more like the size of my full-size Mavic. But you got to remember, this is just the test rig that they're using, or the test device. And if you look, you can see right here, this is the layout for the testing, and you can see the ETU right here. That's the equipment under test is right there, and you can see it has an SD card. So this is not an actual drone they're testing, it's just the radio equipment for that drone. And that size that was listed there was the size of the equipment they're testing and not the actual drone. So I don't think we need to worry about the drone being that big. Also underneath the FCC document is the label that's supposed to go, and you can clearly see Mavic Mini right here and some other information about it. So this is the label that would probably go on the bottom of the drone, and they show the label location right here. This is certainly good evidence. It tells us something is coming, and it's called the Mavic Mini. But there's nothing in here about the dimensions of the drone, which I'd hope there would be, or pictures of the drone. There's nothing like this, because this is just for the radio equipment only. Here's a bigger shot of the label right here, so you can get a better look at it. And there's the FCC ID that we are looking at right on the label right there. Okay, also on the FCC site, you have the controller. Now, you might think that because it just says C2 there, this is no evidence this is a controller. But in looking through the documents, you can see right here, this is again in the test document that's underneath this same document for the controller. You can see right there it says remote controller. And again, it has dimensions down here, but remember, this is just the radio equipment and maybe not the actual, covering that the controller is in. So we can't, if this was the size of the controller, well, that would be okay, because that's about the size of my Mavic controller. But I think it's more or less just the radio equipment, again, looking at that there. Okay, now here's some of the original images right here that were out of what it looks like, and you have the ruler. There's a scale laying next to it right here. This is a square in millimeters. And again, this is on the Drone for Daily site, and they're saying that we can expect an announcement around October 30. And I think this is in line with what they've talked about earlier in some of the other sites, that there was going to be a Q4 release. So maybe sometime before Christmas they might release the drone. Again, this is just rumors, but when it does come out, you'll probably want to click that button and get one right away. And again, this may not be, it may just be a pre-order rather than a full order, but you may have to put down a down payment. I know with the Skydio 2, they were doing a $100 down payment just to get in line to get one next year. So this may be something like that. There may be money that you can put down to reserve one, or you just get in a pre-order status. Doesn't mean you're going to be able to actually get your drone right that particular date. So we'll just see what goes on with that. And if we go further down, you can see the scale here. And these again are older pictures, but from this it looks like it's somewhere around 200 millimeters by 200 millimeters. And I think my Mavic is more like 260 by 260 or something. So this is smaller. Is it as small as they're hoping it will be? You know, how does it compare with the Spark? I don't know if it's really smaller than the Spark, but it certainly is small. And it has a gimbal right underneath it here. And the camera looks similar to the Spark, but can't be sure. There just isn't enough information in these early documents. Here you can see the dimensions listed here on this early document was 140 by 140 millimeters. So that's even smaller than what it looked like in that picture. But I don't know at what point they're measuring it. Is this like hub to hub, or is it the outside the propellers? I don't know. So it's all just rumor at that point. If you look here, you can see again some corroborating evidence, because this particular site, which is cameraegg.org, they're saying we already know that the DJI Mavic Mini will be officially announced October 30th, 2019. Now I gotta admit, I don't know how they know that. I certainly have no evidence that that is true, but somewhere they've found some evidence about it, and they're not saying what it is. And it says, according to the latest rumors. So again, you know, they're saying rumors, but the next drone, you know, could be DJI Mavic 3. We don't even know what could happen, but there is signs of the DJI Mavic 3 Pro coming out and Mavic 3 Zoom, and that will be coming out maybe in 2020, so that's interesting. And they've actually got a diagram here of the Mavic 3, so that's another thing to think about. They're saying late January 2020. If this is true, they're going to have two drones out very rapidly, one right after the other, maybe one before Christmas and one after. So it's pretty exciting times, considering DJI has not had a drone out in over a year, maybe almost 2 years. They haven't had a new drone. So that's kind of interesting. It's all still kind of rumors, but I think this FCC stuff is really hard evidence that something is coming, and I'm looking forward to it. Okay, so in closing, this is where I was just doing some searching on the FCC ID, and you can do this too. So you just put in your frequency range, and then you can actually click search and get a listing of everything in that frequency range. But that's not all. You could actually do a Windows search too by pressing the F3 key, and then just do DJI like that, and then it marks 12 DJI entries in here. And you can see some of them right here. Like if I go down to entry 7 right there and bring that one up, you can see that that is the DJI FPV Air unit that came out a little while ago, along with the DJI FPV goggles, so that you can put a high definition racing unit onto your racing quad and race around. You've probably seen it. It's the goggles with the 4 antennas on it. So all of these things are actually under here. When you do this search, you can find out a lot about DJI and what they're releasing. And of course, the number 1 on the list is the Mavic Mini. So there you have it. There's a lot of evidence. DJI's been very busy. They're not just laying around not doing anything. So it's about time, and I'm glad it's coming. So if you got anything to say, just put it under the video. Maybe somebody knows even more about this than I do, and I'm sure there'll be more evidence coming along. So stay tuned, because I'll probably be doing another video on this, and if I can get a hold of one of these Mavic Minis, I'll definitely be doing a review. Okay, we'll talk to you later, and don't forget to subscribe if you're not subscribed. I've got lots of different RC videos on my channel. All right, we'll talk to you later.